Hello, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. You don't usually get to say that. Usually it's like a Wednesday or a Thursday, but happy Friday. Hope everybody had a good week. This should be a good session. As you join, feel free to let us know where you're dialing, tuning in from in the world. I know nobody's really calling these days, but feel free to let us know where you're at. It's always good to see where people are located. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Also, feel
I'm
free
in
to let me
India.
know. Oh, yeah. Hey, Faizan.
Hi, John.
Um, yeah, and let me know if you had anything to eat today. Let me know what you ate. I haven't eaten, so I need to get something after this session. But we'll give it a minute just to let everybody filter in before we get started. As I always say, some housekeeping things. The session is going to be recorded, so if you want to watch anything back, review any of the content that we talk about, you'll get a link to the recording within the next 24 hours ish. I'll try to get it out before the end of the day because it is a Friday. If you have questions as we go along, feel free to ask any questions that you have. We do not bite. We're more than happy to answer questions as we go. Um, if it's something that isn't directly related to what we're talking about, we may give it a minute just until we have like a breath to discuss it, or it'll be saved to the very end when we do the dedicated Q&A. But either way, we will answer your question and make sure that if we can't answer it in the moment, we'll get you an answer at some point. Um, but yeah, we can go ahead and get started. My name is John May. I am the video and engagement expert manager here for Webgility. I've been with Webgility for a number of years now. I think my anniversary for 5 years was just yesterday, actually. But yeah, we are going to be talking about advanced inventory management in Webgility Desktop specifically. I am joined by our lovely implementation manager, Faizan. If you want to introduce yourself, Faizan.
Thank you so much, John. And first of all, congratulations to you on completing your 5 years with Webgility.
Hey, thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Faizan, a senior implementation manager at Webgility, and excited to be your co-host today alongside John May. I've been working with Webgility for over 6 years and have successfully completed 1,000 plus onboardings. It's been an adventurous and incredible journey for sure. But
Awesome. Yeah, and I
mhm,
appreciate having you on these. I
yeah,
always like to say it, but I can talk my
mhm,
way through most situations and demo things inside of Webgility, but having the team that, lives
mhm.
and breathes inside of Webgility every day and helps customers get implemented, that's even better. So, appreciate you being on
That
this.
is so. Yep. So, John, and everyone, through my experience as a business and onboarding consultant, I have realized that one of the biggest challenges e-commerce businesses facing is managing inventory accurately across their sales channels and accounting system, whether it is missing items between platforms, keeping track of prices and quantities, managing multiple inventory sites, bin locations, or handling multiple price level rules, kits, bundle items, unit of measures. So when it comes to inventory management, things can quickly become complicated. So today, John and I will show you how Webgility can help simplify these challenges, and you can keep your inventory accurate across your e-commerce platforms and QuickBooks. And I'm pretty much confident that by the end of this webinar, you all will have a much better understanding of how to leverage Webgility for advanced inventory management. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, John.
Perfect. Yeah. So for the agenda today, we're doing it a little bit differently than we normally do. In the past, we've sort of, had slides for every single topic where we cover it, and then at the end we sort of do a demo. But Faizan and I talked about it, and we think it works a little bit better if we just do a little bit of introductory on, why we're talking about this, what we're actually talking about, and then we just do a demo for the whole thing. And then, as we go through it, again, if you have questions or if there's something that we need to stop and talk about, we will do that. But there's going to be, it's not nearly as heavy on the slides as maybe we normally do. And that's the perks of being able to demo things live. So, just a little bit of an introduction. I think Faizan covered this a little bit in, what he just said, but the reason we want to talk about this is, as you have multiple locations, sort of necessitates using advanced inventory inside of QuickBooks. And advanced inventory comes with a
Mhm.
lot of, complex territory. So generally that means that, if you're working in multiple locations, you have a lot of SKUs, and the more SKUs and the more locations and the more channels you sell on, the higher the possibility that you have things that don't match, that you're kind of chasing those mismatches and trying to find where the discrepancy comes from, and it just makes things a lot more complicated, right? So, being that Webgility, we pride ourselves on sort of enabling an environment where you can have multiple stores and have them all in sync and feed all that accurate data into QuickBooks. We feel like this is a super important topic for people to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and that you're sort of, I guess, nipping it in the bud, as it were,
Mhm.
and sort of fixing the problem at its source. So. What exactly is advanced inventory? I know this probably doesn't need to be said, so we can gloss straight over this. But standard inventory, the basic version of inventory is just like tracking one quantity in generally one place and one unit of measurement, right? As simple as it gets. Where advanced inventory adds those layers that we just talked about, where you're adding multiple channels, you're adding multiple locations, multiple units of measurement, assembly items, bundle items, stuff like that all adds to the complexity, those layers of complexity that we talked about, right? So, the four pillars here are where, how much, what, and when. So, where being multiple sites and bin locations, how much being the multiple units of measurement, what being the pack and bundle items that are built from components and other items, and then when being the rules that sort of tell everything how that data should move and sync across systems, right? So this is, again, super easy introductory conversation, but I wanted to hand it off directly to Faizan from here, so that we can just go straight in to the demo. So I'm going to allow you to share, and I'm going to stop my share so you can take it away from here,
Mhm.
Faizan. And we can stop and have conversations as we go. Again, if you have questions as Faizan is showing any of this stuff, feel free to ask them in the chat. You're more than welcome to raise your hand and I can unmute you and you can ask vocally. I'm always an advocate for, having a real vocal conversation, but either way works. Just let us know.
Thanks, John. So, first of all, I would like to tell you this is my test Webgility account. And before we begin to the product module, I would like to show you how many stores I have connected. Like these are some sample or test sales channel along with my QuickBook company file. I have connected Shopify, Etsy, like multiple websites, multiple marketplaces with different versions of QuickBooks like online, enterprise, pro premium, multiple QuickBooks file. So you can connect Webgility with multiple sales channels and with different QuickBook company files and versions. Secondly, when it comes to product module or inventory management, so what all you need to do, you just need to navigate to the products tab right here, first row and third option. This is Webgility's product module feature. From here, you can manage your inventory. So I am going to give a demonstration between Shopify and QuickBooks inventory, right? If I switch my store to any other store such as Amazon, Walmart, Magento, so you're going to see the inventory management between that specific store profile and QuickBooks accounting. So right now I'm in Shopify. In the left panel, you can see at the top left corner, we have Shopify here and we have QuickBooks. Now, the first rule, okay, I would say it's a thumb rule once a day, you just need to come here and refresh the product list from the top right corner. So when you click on this refresh icon, what Webgility does, it starts downloading latest item from your QuickBooks accounting and from your Shopify. So let's say if you are going to add any new product, updating prices and quantities. Let's say if you are assigning bin locations or anything, you have to come here and refresh this list. So Webgility has the latest item information between Shopify, and QuickBooks. Now in the left panel, you can see the information it's been updated and the first change what you're going to see here at the top right corner, the timestamp it's been updated. Last download a few seconds ago, which means Webgility has generated a new catalog report. In the left panel, you can see we have two sections, one for Shopify, another for QuickBooks, and there's one common option on both of the sections here, all products. So if I double click here, what it says, I'm going to see all products of QuickBooks, whatever items I have listed over here in my QuickBooks accounting. And it includes everything: group items, assembly item, inventory, non-inventory, taxes, discounts, everything. So as of now, I have 89 products in my QuickBooks accounting. If I go to Shopify, so in Shopify, the numbers are way higher. 2051 products currently listed in my Shopify here. Now, I would like to sort this list. How many items of Shopify matches with your QuickBook product? Matching as in SKU number of Shopify item matches with QuickBooks item name. Like this is a standard matching criteria what we recommend our customers so that Webgility identify items between online store and QuickBooks accounting. So I'm going to sort the list from the top right corner and take a look. So 34 items out of 89 or 2051 items are matching, right? These items of Shopify, they exist in my QuickBooks accounting. The one that are not matching, it's right over here, missing in QuickBooks. So missing in QuickBooks, it stands for that these are your Shopify items and none of these SKUs matches with QuickBook product. And there are two possibilities why these items are exist and missing in QuickBooks. Number one, which is crystal clear, that these items, what I have on Shopify, they don't exist in QuickBooks. And second possibility is that these items, they do exist, but because of different SKU and item name, they are not matching. So first and foremost, after generating the product list, I need to come to this part and verify how many items are not matching so that I can create and I can manually map them. So what I have done, like there's one item on Shopify that I have created, and this item, like it has only five variants. Three of them are listed. Like if I go to all products of Shopify, and let me just check the matched products. So the SKU is AUMRS. So I have in total, like if I select all products here, first if I see all products, there are five products listed, five different variants for this shoe, but only three of them are matching. Why? Because I have just added two variants today before this meeting. So if I would like to create these two variants, I go to missing in QuickBooks. I'm gonna search for this item again here by SKU number, AUMRS, and see this. These two items are not exist in my QuickBooks accounting. So if I would like to create them, I simply select and click on create product. So these two items will transfer over to your QuickBooks accounting. And once I click on create product, it will populate a tab where I can verify all the details. This is my SKU number, which will become item name, sales description, purchase descriptions, sale price, cost price. It retrieve all the details from Shopify item. In review presets here, I have defined these settings so how WebGility will create these items. So here these products, and when I click on continue, it will add these two products in your QuickBooks accounting. And once it's added successfully, then these two items will get removed from missing in QuickBooks and they will start appearing in Mash tab. So first and foremost rule is make sure that all of your Shopify items, what you have listed, whether it is individual item, assembly, bulk, variants, they all needs to be mapped or created.
Yeah, and just to add, you certainly don't have to use the function to create the items directly from WebGility in QuickBooks. It's not something that's
Hmm.
like required for you to do.
Hmm.
It just sort of does the groundwork for you. So the other point being that it also doesn't do all of the work for you. You still will have to go in and make sure that in QuickBooks it looks exactly how you want to as the product that you're creating. But using WebGility to create those products that like Faizan just demoed is
Hmm.
it's sort of a shortcut. It makes things a little easier for you, so you don't have to at least do the basic stuff when you create it in QuickBooks.
That's true. And when it comes to mapping, you just need to select the SKU of Shopify, click on map product. If SKU is assigned, I mean, if your item in QuickBooks assigned with any sub item, you can do one-click mapping. If SKU entered in barcode or manufacturing field, right? It's not your QuickBooks item name, so we can do one-click mapping and Shopify SKU will map with manufacturing field. But if it is a complete different name of QuickBooks, then I can go here. I can search for the correct item and do the mapping. Let's say this 200 matches, or it's this item 503143. So I can do the mapping. This mapping is important because for the next option, and that option is price out of sync and quantity out of sync. So when we refresh the list, we get to know how many items are in QuickBooks, how many items are listed on sales channel, how many of them are matching, not matching. Webgility also let you know, or it also gives you the list of product that have a conflicting quantities. So for example, these three items, they have 100 quantities in QuickBooks, but they have zero quantities on Shopify. So if I would like to synchronize the price and quantity, so I mean this feature is for quantity, I just select three of them and hit on synchronize here. So I think I need to refresh this product list, but again, this is the way how we can keep the track of quantities. In second column, you can see QuickBook quantities, and third column, we have Shopify quantities. Same goes with pricing.
Yeah, and just to sort of
Mhm,
reiterate why we
mhm,
talked about the mapping matching before this price and quantity out of sync. Just think of it this way: if Webgility can't tell which item is which, so if we see that you have this item in Shopify, and we can't see its matching counterpart inside of QuickBooks, there will be no way for us to tell that the quantity or price is out of sync. So that's why, we covered that first because obviously we need to be able to tell that things match before we're able to say, hey, these numbers
mhm.
don't add up from a
Right,
quantity and pricing perspective. So
perfect. That's true. And in addition to this, I mean, matching and creation of product is really important because when Webgility posts the order, it identifies the item based on SKU matches with QuickBooks item name to reduce the order item quantity from QuickBooks. Now, same goes, same process. You need to select them all and hit on synchronize. So we can synchronize sale price, cost price of items between Shopify and QuickBooks. Now, let's come to the advanced inventory, additional mapping for quantities. So let's say if you are selling cases or pack of product, like yesterday I was working with a customer and he is dealing with cigars. So there are pack of cigars, like he is selling in one pack, there are 20 pieces of cigar. So let's say if this is one item, if this item it's a pack product and you are selling like it's a pack or it's a case of 20 products. So I just select this item and add 20 quantities over here. So whenever somebody places order for this SKU on Shopify, at the time of order posting, it will reduce 20 quantity from your QuickBooks item. Next, unit of measures. So if you have assigned unit of measure, and this comes with the products where you are dealing in weight. For example, tea. If you are a merchant where you are dealing in tea or any item that sells in weight, so we can, and if you have assigned unit of measure to these items in QuickBooks, let's say if it is in pounds and ounces, and at the time of order posting, if somebody is placing order in grams, and in QuickBooks, you're handling items quantity in kilogram, right? So if somebody is placing order for 250 grams, and at the time of order posting, it should reduce 250 grams out of 1 kg or 10 kgs. So we can assign unit of measures here, and based on that, WebGility will reduce your quantity count from the uh, QuickBooks. So this mapping quantity and weight for pack of products or unit of measures from QuickBooks. We have an additional option here for inventory sites. Let's say if you have multiple inventory sites, If you have 3 or 4 different locations where you're keeping track of locations and as well as bin locations too. So for individual item, we can start keeping the track of quantities. For example, I have mapped these 3 items, right? In QuickBooks, these items supposed to be, I mean, the quantities I have entered in LA location, and this is the bin location for this quantity item quantities. So when we refresh the list, Webgility retrieve the quantity count from these locations only. Whatever quantity count you have in this bin location or this location. So it's not necessary that you can select one locations. If you want, you can select multiple locations or multiple inventory sites, and Webgility retrieve the exact quantity count from that specific inventory site or bin location and update it on Shopify when you sync it. And same goes with auto posting. Let's say if I have selected Dallas location for this item, at the time of auto posting, Webgility reduce the quantity count from this specific inventory site. So one-to-one or individual mapping we can do for inventory site and bin location. And now it comes for inventory forecasting. Now that we have discussed about inventory, syncing inventory, let's talk about planning inventory. Webgility gives us 2 useful tools over here: inventory forecasting and supply. So inventory forecasting help us answer, do I have enough quantity for my expected demand? While supply level here help us, when should I consider replenishing this product? You can export these two lists. So for example, if I have 100 unit available today, but my trend indicates that I'm going to run low soon, the forecast can help me identify that risk. I can then use my supply level setting to determine whether I need to take action and replenish the inventory. So if I get back to forecasting here, then you can see the trends here from the last column. Month on month trends, you can see. Now inventory sync settings. So this sync setting, it belongs to quantity count syncing or cost prices syncing. You can consider any platform as master data. Let's say if your master data is Shopify, you're keeping track of price and quantity there and would like to push it in QuickBooks, then you can consider sales channel as the master data or consider QuickBooks as the master data. Well, it is recommended, let's say if you are managing inventory or if you have multiple websites or marketplaces, then always consider QuickBooks as the master data. So in one place, you have to track the quantity count and Webgility will sync it on the other side. Then you can use locations here, specifically to which location you can sync the quantity count. Default inventory site. Let's say I have multiple sales channels. I'm selling on Amazon, Walmart, and I have my own warehouse. So let's say if I want to sync Shopify quantity from warehouse and Amazon quantity from FBA, Amazon warehouse or anywhere. So I can define inventory sites as well. Then here we have price level. As you know that when it comes to your own individual website or sales channel, or when it comes to marketplaces prices are higher comparatively your own website. Reason behind, because of additional charges what they own. So 20-25% of price difference you have on your website. So you just need to do one thing. You need to set multiple price level rule in your QuickBooks accounting and define different price level here. So let's say I have set a price level rule for Shopify. So I simply select Shopify price level, and whatever price level I have defined in QuickBooks, it will synchronize the same quantities, same pricing to Shopify. Same goes for Amazon, Walmart, and other stuff. Now, when it comes to auto posting, there's one setting for advanced inventory mapping. let's say some seller wants that, okay, when Webgility posts the order, so we would like to reduce quantity from one specific location. So if I go to products here, mm, there you go. So I can set a default inventory location. Let's say that L location, I'm tracking quantity of all Shopify order items here in this L location inside QuickBooks. So I can set it this way. And at the time of order posting from Webgility to QuickBooks, Webgility will use this location to inventory side to reduce the quantity count. Next, we can also map inventory site like on multiple level based on state levels, Shopify locations, countries, and tags. So let's say if you have multiple warehouses based on states. So if I have New Jersey states, I can select here which one is near to its New York location. I can set for other state, let's say for California, I can go with LA location and I can save this setup. So this is how, at the time of auto posting, Webgility reduced the quantity from exact inventory side, and from this product module, you can handle like an accurate inventory when it comes to syncing price and quantity, creation, mapping of product, handling pack of items, unit of measures, and most importantly, inventory forecasting and assigning bin locations and inventory site for individual items. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, very, very
Hmm.
thorough. I think now's a good time to stop and see if anybody has any specific questions on what Faizan just covered. I know, again, to sort of reiterate, advanced inventory is a
Hmm.
very complex ecosystem. So
Hmm.
it can be a little hard for us to go into all the intricacies and ins and outs, especially when we're talking about like assembly and bundle items and the issues that can come with that sort of thing. But this is a great platform for you to ask questions if you do have any. I'm gonna reshare my screen again, and I think it's a good time. Well, I don't know where my screen went. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Hmm.
So it's a good time to talk about some best practices. So for best practices, these are pretty straightforward, but I think it really does end up being this easy when it comes to what you should be doing as a seller when it comes to advanced inventory. But the first thing is to be auditing as regularly as you can. I think quarterly is a great benchmark in terms of when you should and can be auditing. If you can audit more frequently, there's definitely no problem in that, but I would say quarterly is probably like a good sweet spot for most people, right? So, um, it's pretty regular for warehouses to have changes over the course of a quarter or every quarter to have things to change and reorganize. But make sure that your mappings are solid when you do those reorganizations across your warehouses or you change locations or, any of those organizational changes that you make. Make sure that you're auditing your sites and your bins and that things are mapped correctly. The next is maybe sort of a retroactive thing, but if you're just starting to use WebGility, now is the best time to make sure that your unit of measurement is set up properly. Um, Obviously, if you've been using WebGility and you're just starting to set up your unit of measurement, that's not something you can avoid. But if you are trying to put your best foot forward and it's something that you haven't done yet, the best time is now. Go and standardize your unit of measurement. It makes things easier in the long run. Because if counts are off and you start to run into issues, going and adjusting the unit of measurement it becomes sort of a mess, right? The third best practice here would be make sure that you have reserves on your bundle stock, not just the components themselves, right? So it's important, obviously, to make sure that you have the components that make up the bundles. But if you are selling bundles alongside components, individually, there can be a level of desync there that makes it very hard to manage, right? So make sure that you track the bundle SKUs availability individually alongside the components that make it up, right? Because you don't want to have issues with either of them at that point. And then the last thing here is I think just general good advice for even outside of advanced inventory, just people that use Webgility or people that sell online in general. But watch your sync health. So, a match like a total that matches between your, we'll say, pricing or inventory is a good sign, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything is working properly, right? So, if you've got a good eye, like we said in the best practice number one, if you are tracking your sites and your bins properly and you're auditing things outside of just, hey, does this number match across platforms? Then you'll be able to catch when things are starting to slip behind the scenes. Because, a matching total doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't something happening on the background, right? So you want to, again, audit everything that you can, create a process on a quarterly basis when you can to check, all of the functionality across Webgility and all of your channels to make sure that things are set up correctly for your multiple locations and your bins and everything so that stuff isn't kind of quietly falling through the cracks behind the scenes, if that makes sense. Anything you wanted to add there, Faizan?
No, you have covered anything. Yeah, you have covered everything, my friend.
Cool, cool. Yeah, and like I said, so this is generally where we'll do the question answer. We are a little ahead of time. I think that's just due to the fact that we just did a demo for most of it rather than having slides that sort of talked through everything. But yeah, so we have some additional time. Now's a good time to ask questions. Even if it's not directly related to what we talked about today, if it's something that is, more specific to your Webgility subscription, now is a great time to go over it. If there's, some more nuance that you'd like, specific to your business when it comes to assembly or group items or inventory forecasting, anything that we talked about today, and you want someone from our team to sort of articulate that with you on a call, that is what we are here for. So we can schedule a one-to-one directly with you, so that you can show us exactly what's happening in your books, exactly what's happening in your channels, and we can give you sort of that best practice advice, to make sure that it's set up properly for you. So if we didn't necessarily answer your question on the call today, that is always an option. Even if you don't, raise your hand right now to say, hey, schedule a call with me, you can always do that directly on our website. If you go to webgility.com, you're logged into your portal, there's the chat bubble at the bottom right. You hit that, and then we can schedule a call with you directly through there. Either just a one-to-one with our CSM team where we just can answer any of your questions, or a refresher team with Faizan's implementation team, where we can, go through all of the again, the best practices and the workflows that you should be following to make sure that things work properly. Cool. But again, this is the best time for questions, so I'll give it a minute just to make sure if anybody has any questions that you can get them out. Otherwise, I can give you guys 10 minutes back in your day. That's definitely not a bad thing on a Friday. Happy to give you guys an early Friday, right? But yeah, so these sessions, I know they've been a little bit sparse in recent months. It's mostly just because we've been sort of reorganizing our webinar strategy in general. If you are on the session and you aren't aware, I also do Thursday sessions called the Ecom Clinic, where I lately have been bringing on our in-house accounting experts to talk through some of the biggest accounting flow problems and how to optimally set up your accounting flow for Webgility and for your sales channels. So that's every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, just like, these are 12 p.m. Eastern. And then we're doing some other sessions with partners of ours as well. So look out for email invites to those. And then one last thing I wanted to say before we sign off is, we wouldn't have customer, we wouldn't be in business without you guys as our customers. So we always want to show appreciation where we can. One of those things that we can do is sort of a customer spotlight situation. So if you, are a Webgility customer and you're happy to sort of explain your experience with Webgility and raise your hand as a business owner and kind of talk about your business, feel free to drop that in chat or just reach out to us again through our online chat and let us know you want to do a case study with us. We would highlight your business in our newsletter and on our site as a customer of ours and kind of push people to your business to kind of talk about it. And then all you have to do is just tell us how you feel about Webgility and how it's worked for you. So we'd love to talk about your business and get more insight onto what you do as a business in e-commerce. So With that, I can go ahead and again give you guys some time back in your day. Thanks everybody for
Hmm.
joining. The next session will be either it won't be next week, but it'll be the following week. We'll probably go back to a Wednesday calendar just because I feel like Fridays are a bit dicey for a lot of people. It's when people try to get out of the office to go enjoy their weekend, which I don't blame you for. But thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Faizan, for being on and sharing your expertise. But everybody have a wonderful rest of your day and happy Friday.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
John. Happy Friday.